Hello, everyone. Welcome back to week 6, episode 6 of Beyond the Green Golf Podcast. I am your host, Brian Mahoney. Just want to say thank you very much for everyone that watched last week's video, subscribed to my YouTube channel, liked my video, provided feedback. I really appreciate all of that all together. If you guys have not yet subscribed to my channel, if you guys could please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Beyond the Green Golf Podcast, as well. If you're not following me on Twitter, if you could please follow me at my Twitter. It's at @BeOnTheGreenGolf. I would just really appreciate if you guys can subscribe, like my video, respond to me on Twitter, give me a follow. If you guys have any other further questions, comments, you can always reach out to me on there. I really appreciate it. I just want to, as always, just keep the same routine going, do a little quick review of last week, the Dell Technology match play. So I just have to start off by saying congrats to Scotty Scheffler on winning the Dell Technologies match play, as well as becoming the new #1 ranked golfer in the world in the official world golf rankings, taking over the #1 spot from Jon Rahm. So it's a huge achievement. Congrats to Scotty. Every PGA Tour player strives to obviously become the #1 player in the world. Not everyone can get there, but Scotty at only 25 years old has already gotten to that top echelon. So big congrats to Scotty on that achievement. Scotty, he beat out match play, as they like to call him, Bulldog Kevin Kisner in the finals, winning 4-3. It definitely wasn't an easy road for Scotty to get to the finals. He had to come out of what I like to call the group of death, which included Scotty Scheffler, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, and Ian Poulter. And it actually took beating Matt Fitzpatrick in a 6-hole playoff to advance out of that group. I believe on the 5th playoff hole, Matt Fitzpatrick had about an 8-foot birdie putt to knock out Scotty Scheffler and eliminate him, and Fitz would have been the one moving on, but unfortunately Fitz missed that birdie putt. They tied, moved to the 6th hole, and Scotty got it done. So Scotty advanced and ended up going the whole way, beating Dustin Johnson as well as Kisner and taking down the trophy. So let's see, that is now 3 wins for Scotty in his last 5 tournaments. He won the WGC Match Play, Arnold Palmer Invitational, as well as the Waste Management Phoenix Open. So with this win here at the WGC Dell Match Play, since it's a WGC, it's a little higher elevated. So what Scotty ended up receiving for that win was full exemption, or he's fully exempt through 2024-2025 season. So it's a 3-year exemption that he gets to keep his tour card, as well as he got 550 FedEx Cup points, which normally you receive 500. So Scotty got a little bit more FedEx Cup points, and which is obviously really nice. But the next thing he got was $2.1 million for the first place prize money, as well as winning this tournament gets you a spot into the Masters, the RBC Heritage, the PGA Championship, the Charles Schwab Challenge, Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, and a spot in the 2023 Century Tournament of Champions. So let's just go over really quick the 4 golfers that I picked last week. Those golfers were Dustin Johnson, Tommy Fleetwood, Abraham Ancer, and Jordan Spieth. So my pick to win it all was Dustin Johnson, and he ended up making a great run. He made it to the final 4, but like I just mentioned previously, he just ended up facing Scotty in the semifinals and ended up losing that match. And then Dustin Johnson, not too sure how much motivation he had in that 3rd place match, but he ended up losing to Corey Connors in that third place match. And then Abraham Ancer was the next best golfer who made a pretty good run, had a pretty good tournament. He ended up making it to the quarterfinals, but did end up losing to Corey Connors. And then the other two golfers, Tommy Fleetwood and Jordan Spieth, unfortunately they didn't make it out of the group stage. But I guess the only one positive for Tommy, or for my Tommy pick, which was kind of my long shot pick, he was the only one to actually beat Scotty Scheffler in the group play, or pretty much in the whole tournament. So, but yeah, overall it was a good week. Did not snag a winner, but it's okay. We're still getting pretty close each time. Another top 4 finish there from one of the golfers, so we're on the right track. Let's just keep this process going, and hopefully we'll snag a couple more winners here over this near future. But before I move on, I also do want to give a congratulations to Harold Varner III, HV3, Russell Henley, Seamus Power, Cameron Young, and Thomas Peters, as they were added to the Masters field by making it into the top 50 of the official World Golf Rankings as of about March 28th. So it was after this WGC. Whoever was in the top 50 World Golf Rankings, if they haven't already received a Masters invite, those 5 did end up getting a Masters invite. So for HV3, Seamus Power, and Cameron Young, this will be their first appearances at the Masters. And there is only one spot left for the Masters, and that is actually by winning this week's tournament, the Valero Texas Open. So there are a couple big names, fairly big names, that have just not been playing well recently, but are currently not in the Masters. And so those golfers, just to name a couple of them, are Ricky Fowler, Jason Day, and Matt Kuchar. So yeah, this is pretty much your last chance to get in the Masters, is by winning this tournament. So that would be pretty cool if one of those guys that's not already in it gets the win and gets to go to the Masters. Okay, before taking a deep dive into Valero Texas Open, I just would like to give a shout out to Rick Gaiman, who runs the website rickrungood.com. And pretty much all the strokes gained data and custom models that I read off for my videos, I'm creating those on Rick's website, rickrungood.com. So if you're out there, you love betting on golf betting, if you love the whole strokes gains stats, and kind of making your own custom models, Rick's website is great for that. So please go and subscribe to rickrungood.com. Okay, so now let's move on to the Valero Texas Open. I'd like to do just a little bit of a course breakdown really quick before we get into the golfers, the favorites, and who I'm picking this week. So let's see, I have here this week, the final week before the Masters tournament, the PGA Tour. We're heading to, or not we, I'm not a part of it, but the PGA Tour heads to San Antonio, Texas, to play the Valero Texas Open, which is being played at TPC San Antonio, the Oaks course. I guess there's 2 different courses at this venue, so they're playing the Oaks course. And TPC San Antonio's Oaks course has hosts for the 12th time. They've been here as the host since 2010. And then I also want to give a shout out to Andy Lack, who is kind of joined combined forces with Rick, and they're working together. And Andy Lack, his Twitter page, you can find him at ADP Lack Sports. You can find him, give him a follow on Twitter. He's a great golf content guy to follow, gives out great information, as well as he provides a great course breakdown article on Rick's website, rickrungood.com. So I've used information from Andy's article, as well as I've pulled some info myself from the GCSAA, which is the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, their tournament fact sheet. That also has some great little notes and tidbits about the course. But pretty much here, what I have written down is the basics. So the course is the Oaks course at TPC San Antonio. The designer, Greg Norman, in 2010. The length of this course, it's a pretty lengthy course this week. It's a par 72, measuring out at 7,438 yards. The hazards on this course, I see here it says water comes into play on only 3 holes. So it's a lot better than Florida, where it was water on 17 holes on one course and 15 on the other. So this week water will only come into play on 3 holes, and there's 64 sand bunkers. The fairways are Bermuda grass with rye and fescue, measuring 33 yards wide on average. The rough is Bermuda grass, and it's only 2 inches long this week, so the rough isn't going to be just kind of like last week. It's not going to be too much of an issue. The greens are Bermuda grass, overseeded with Poa trivialis, measuring at 6,400 square feet on average. And so TPC San Antonio, it's known as a difficult golf course. It's normally ranked one of the tougher golf courses on the PGA Tour out of all the courses they play. But yeah, so it's led to, over these last 3 years, it's actually led to some lower scoring in just these last 3 editions of the tournament, the Valero Texas Open. So the past 3 winners and their winning scores are Jordan Spieth in 2021. He finished at 18 under par. Corey Connors, 2019, he finished at 20 under par. And Andrew Landry in 2018 finished 17 under par. And so Landry actually just withdrew yesterday or 2 days ago. So unfortunately, one of the former champions won't be playing this week. So let's see here. So from what I've seen personally, from like the PGA Tour players' Instagram accounts and on Twitter, the players practicing at TPC San Antonio, is that I can see it's definitely pretty windy. It's your typical Texas winds, but it's not as bad as last week with the match play. Because I know the wind was gusting up to like 28 miles per hour last week, and it's not going to get up to that high, but it should be definitely a good little amount of wind, just your normal Texas wind. So this course is long in distance, but due to the dry conditions, the ball will kind of run out, just similar to last week a little bit. There's another guy who provided a good course breakdown as well. His name is Wiley, they like to call him. His Twitter account is Wiley77 on Twitter. And this is pretty much the tidbits about the course that he tweeted out. So it's you need to be long and accurate off the tee. You can't really hide if you miss fairways. There's some tight oak tree-lined fairways. Some others are wider. And there is some danger that lurks on, like I said, with the oak tree lined fairways, because I don't know if you all remember, but Kevin Na, this was the course on hole 9 where Kevin Na took a 16, he got a 16 on the 9th hole in 2011. So yes, that is correct. It's kind of crazy to see that, but on one hole, he ended up getting 16 strokes. He just hit it in the trees and just could not get out of there. He was just hacking away, just could not get out. And so, Yeah, you'll want to be on the fairways this week and don't have any Kevin Na situations getting a 16. Let's try to avoid that this week. The par fives are tough. Really, only one is reachable in two. You have to drive the ball well. Greens are tough to hit. There's gnarly shaved runoffs and bunkering. They really try to, since this is the week before the Masters, they really try to make it pretty similar in the ways with the greens and the runoffs. So you're definitely going to have some good scrambling this week for when you miss those greens. And the other thing about the greens are they're firm, elevated, tiered greens. So pretty much you're going to have to be spot on good with your approach play this week just to make sure you're getting on the right tier of the greens. Because if not, it could lead to some long putts and possibly three putting. So you want to definitely avoid that and get on that right tier of the green. They also have the bunkers here are pretty deep. They're deep bunkers. Texas guys normally play well here is one of the tidbits. Obviously, Spieth is a Texas guy, and he won last year, defending champion. Like I mentioned before, one spot. There's only one more spot left into the Masters, and it's for those who are not qualified already. If you win this tournament, you get an invite to the Masters. And then good drivers of the ball who can scramble and avoid big scores. And then as well as he has written down here, Charlie Hoffman runs the show. And pretty much what he means by that is Charlie Hoffman in this tournament, as they like to say, is your course horse. So Charlie Hoffman is just over the past years, he absolutely just plays well every single time he comes to TPC San Antonio, Valero Texas Open. So Charlie, even though he hasn't been playing too well recently, I can't remember Charlie ever being in contention over these past couple months, but Charlie definitely loves this course, so it wouldn't be surprising to see Charlie up on the top of the leaderboard. But so I have here a couple more tidbits. So this is from Justin Ray Golf on Twitter, and he has here the best cumulative score to par at TPC San Antonio in Valero Texas Open history. The number one golfer, Charlie Hoffman, at 73 under par. The next closest player is Aaron Baddeley, Bads, at minus 32 under par. And then the next golfer on that list is Corey Connors at minus 30 under par. So another tweet by Justin Ray Golf, he has the best cumulative score to par at Valero Texas Open since 2017, and rounds played in parentheses. So Charlie Hoffman, he is 30 under par since 2017, and he's played 16 rounds here. Corey Connors is next on that list at 30 under par, and he's played 12 rounds here. Ryan Moore is the next on the list, 25 under par, and he has played 16 rounds here. So actually, Ryan Moore is also tied with Jordan Spieth and Jimmy Walker. They're all three of those guys are 25 under par here since 2017, and Spieth, he only has 8 rounds under his belt at this tournament, and Jimmy Walker has 16 rounds. So also one more thing from Justin Ray. The last 4 players to lead the Valero Texas Open field that week in proximity from 50 to 125 yards. So in 2017, Brooks, he led the Valero Texas Open in proximity 50 to 125 yards. He finished in second place in 2017. Jimmy Walker, in 2018, with that same stat, led the Valero Texas Open in proximity 50 to 125 yards, finished 4th place. 2019, Charlie Hoffman finished 2nd place. 2021, Spieth, he ended up winning the tournament. So that just shows I have a feeling that's just how you need to be sharp with your irons and with these tiered greens. You really need to be getting it on the right tier, get close to make those putts and move yourself up the leaderboard. Okay, so that's enough about the course breakdown. I'm going to go into the favorites this week. So the number one favorite this week is Rory McIlroy, and I'm just going to keep the same routine that I've kind of been doing throughout my first 5 videos. And we're just going to, even though Rory is obviously a great player and can take down this field and win by multiple strokes, we're gonna just keep the same routine, and we're just gonna fade. We're gonna be fading the favorite of Rory this week. And so Rory, he's actually switching up his pre-Masters routine, and he chose to skip the match play and play Valero play this week because he wants to play the week before the Masters, before a major. In the past, he's kind of gotten off to bad starts at the Masters, and so he's kind of hoping to change that by playing the week before this year. And so he hasn't played here in the last 5 years, and so that's a little bit worrisome. And I also think his motivation is just a little bit more towards next week than it truly is this week. But I mean, obviously, Rory is just great player, definitely one of the best, probably the best, definitely the best player in this field, stats wise. And so just to back that up, over the last 50 rounds, Rory does lead this field in strokes gained total at 1.49 strokes gained total. The next closest person is Hideki Matsuyama at 0.92. So yeah, it wouldn't be surprising to see Rory win this week, but we're just going to stick to the same routine. We're going to be passing on Rory this week. So the next favorite I have here on the odds board is Jordan Spieth. He's obviously the defending champion. He lives in Texas, familiar with the golf course. But just like Rory, we're actually going to be fading Spieth this week. Spieth's played twice in the month of March. He played the match play and the players, and each of those 2 tournaments he lost 4 strokes gained total. So that's definitely something you don't like to see. You definitely want to be gaining strokes against the field. And then the other thing is Spieth's putter is normally hot. That's normally a weapon for Spieth, knocking down all those putts, longer putts. But he actually lost 5.5 strokes gained putting at the match play, and he lost 2.4 strokes gained putting at the players. So you have to think Spieth's like Rory, his mindset with how dominant Spieth has been at the Masters. You got to think his mindset is more probably winning the Masters than it is the Valero. So Spieth, he's obviously likes the course, and he's in the last 4 years he's played here, but so Spieth, he definitely loves this course. In the last 4 years, his finishes are first, tied for 30th, second, and 10th. So it's definitely pretty good, but I just think with kind of all those things combined, I'm a little bit worried, and we're going to be passing on Spieth as well. But that leads me to my favorite golfer this week, my number one golfer who we're picking and we're backing. It's Corey Connors. So Corey obviously played well last week, but he's played 3 times in the month of March: the WGC Match Play, the Players Championship, and the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And Corey Connors has gained at least strokes gained total 5 strokes or more in all tournaments. So that's definitely something pretty good and consistent, and you like to see that he's gaining strokes against the field, especially five strokes or more. So let's see, he has positive strokes gained in all 3 tournaments: off the tee, on approach, and tee to green. And so, obviously, like I just mentioned, he played well in the match play. He finished in third place, taking out Abe Ancer and Dustin Johnson. So Corey Connors, it's not a surprise, but everyone knows Corey as a great ball striker, but he really struggles with the putting. You would definitely put Corey Connors on a team no putt. But what I really like is actually a previous tweet I saw and favorited from Rick Gaiman regarding Corey Connors and how he's been a positive putter at 5 different courses in his career with a minimum of 3 starts. And the first on that list is Wailea Country Club, and he has plus 13.167 strokes gained putting at Wailea Country Club. The next on that list is the tournament this week, the course this week, TPC San Antonio, and Corey has gained 4.474 strokes gained putting. So that's just something I really like to see is, in addition to his great ball striking, he's been playing well recently. This is a course that he absolutely loves to putt on. So that is great news for Corey Connors. And let's see here. So I also have, in the last 3 years, Corey Connors has played the Valero. He's gaining strokes in every category all 3 years. Strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, strokes gained putting, strokes gained tee to green, and strokes gained total. The only one he lost in, I believe, was one year was around the green. So everything pretty much points to a great week for Corey Connors. And then here I have Corey Connors did an interview that I watched, and pretty much in his interview, this is what Corey stated. He pretty much said he likes to hit the ball right to left off the tee, which is similar to Augusta, of course, the Masters. And it said, so he just said it fits him really well here at this course. He's really dialed in on his tee shots. He's able to use a variety of clubs off the tee. And he said being comfortable, he's just comfortable here seeing that shot shape, which really translates well to Augusta. He said this is also a tough test. If any areas you are struggling with your game, you will definitely be exposed out here, and you need to shore that up before heading to Augusta, because Augusta is obviously going to test every facet of your game. So yeah, Connors, his natural shot shape just seems to fit really well here. He loves the golf course. And he says it's pretty demanding off the tee and iron shots, which is pretty similar to Augusta. So pretty much everything points to Corey Connors playing well this week. The only one small worry I have is he did play a lot of golf last week. He played 7 matches. But I mean, Corey is a young guy. I think he's gonna, after a couple days of rest and come into a course he really likes, I don't really think that'll be a huge issue, so it's not stopping me from backing Corey this week and making him my favorite golfer this week. Abraham Ancer, he lives in San Antonio. He was my second favorite golfer this week that I was backing, but unfortunately, just earlier today, Ancer actually withdrew from the tournament. It was kind of a surprising withdrawal, but he said he hopes, on his Instagram, he posted he hopes to get healthy and be ready for the Masters. So, not sure, just because he played really well last week and saw him on the course and he was pouring tequila shots for everybody, and so I'm not exactly sure what injury concerns Ancer is dealing with, but hopefully he gets better and he's ready to go for the Masters, because that would be a pretty disappointment if he misses the Masters. The other 2 favorites this week are Hideki and Bryson. Hideki Matsuyama and Bryson DeChambeau. But I also saw on Twitter today from the Hideki Matsuyama tracker account that it was also announced today that Hideki's back injury resurfaced today, and he actually had to withdraw from the Pro-Am. So that's just, once again, another red flag with Hideki and the injury concerns. And so We won't be picking Hideki this week, and we'll be fading Hideki, and it wouldn't be a shock to maybe even see him withdraw from this tournament as well. But we're really hoping he can get healthy enough to be playing in the Masters next week. So injury concerns are pretty much the same with Bryson. Still worried about kind of his wrist injury that he's been dealing with. He didn't look too sharp recently in his last tournament that he played in. So I'm still thinking Bryson just needs a few more rounds under his belt until he's really kind of winning again. But like I said, this field it's not the best field, since a lot of people are kind of skipping this week, getting ready for the Masters. So it wouldn't be a huge shock if Bryson were able to win this tournament with his huge driving distance. But I just think with the lack of reps and the injury concern, I don't expect Bryson to win, and we're going to be passing on Bryson this week. So now it gets me to the golfers I am betting on this week. So my number one golfer, as I've mentioned previously, we're going to be going with Corey Connors this week. And for all the reasons I stated above, it's just a great play. Seems like everything's working towards Corey having a great week this week. So that's my number one golfer, is Corey Connors. The second favorite golfer I like this week that we're backing is Siwoo Kim. So Siwoo, he played well last week at the match play. He gained strokes in all categories except putting. Siwoo loves TPC San Antonio. He loves this course. Out of all the courses on the PGA Tour, this is Siwoo's fourth best course in terms of strokes gained per round. So on 18 rounds here at this course, he has gained 1.28 strokes gained total per round. So that's definitely pretty solid. And then in his last two appearances at this tournament, Siwoo has gained strokes in all categories. So it's definitely great to see when you go to Rick's website and you pull up a golfer's profile and you see a lot of green as opposed to red. You want to see him gaining strokes, not losing strokes. So Siwoo's my second favorite golfer this week, second golfer we're backing. So next on my list, third golfer is Jonathan Vegas. So Vegas, he finished T4 last week in the Corrales Punta Cana Championship. And then the week before that, he played well at the Valspar Championship in Florida. And then he gained strokes in all categories except around the green at that tournament. And so it's also great to see his putter has warmed up. It seems like he's been putting well recently, and he's gained 2 strokes per round at the Valspars and at the Players. So 2 of his most recent tournaments, he's gaining at least 2 strokes per round putting. So that's great to see. And then Vegas, it's known that he's just a great driver of the golf ball. He's great off the tee. Over his last 100 rounds, Vegas ranks 5th in driving distance and 12th in strokes gained off the tee. So stats are pretty good for Johnny Vegas, and expect him to have a good week this week as well. So the next golfer on my list is Luke List. We are going back with Luke List. So when you look at the last 50 rounds of the players in this field, Luke List leads the field in tee to green at 1.31 strokes gained tee to green. And the next closest person on that list is Rory McIlroy at 1.11 strokes gained tee to green. So then also when you click on the ball striking column on Rick's power rankings, List ranks 3rd out of this field at 1.01 strokes gained ball striking over the last 50 rounds of the players in this field. So really like the stats, kind of what Luke List is driving stats and kind of his ball striking has been recently. So expecting Luke List to have a great week this week as well. And so My fifth favorite golfer this week that we're going with and backing is Mito Pereira. So Mito is from Chile. He's obviously, well, it's not obviously, but he's great. He's great friends with Joaquin Niemann, and Mito actually went to school at Texas Tech. So familiar with the Texas area, playing golf in Texas. Over the last 50 rounds, Mito ranks ninth in this field, gaining 0.72 strokes gained total per round. And then when you click on the ball striking column again and ball striking is pretty much what that is it's combined strokes gained off the tee plus strokes gained approach. And you pretty much add those together to get your ball striking statistic. So in the ball striking column, Mito ranks second in this field at 1.03 strokes gained ball striking per round. So we just like the way Luke List and Mito have been hitting it recently, and hopefully Mito, he's still looking for his first PGA Tour win. So that would be pretty cool if Mito is able to get the win and as well as get into the Masters. So that would be pretty cool. So those are my 5 favorites this week that I'm backing, but I also decided this week, since it's a weaker field, I'm throwing in a couple long shot bombs this week. Pretty much a couple of guys at the very kind of towards the bottom of the odds board, but I have a hunch that maybe one of these guys can pop this week and get over the finish line. But my first long shot that we're going with is Kevin Chappell. So Kevin, he likes this course. He won here in 2017, and he gained on approach and tee to green here at this course his last 4 appearances. So that's definitely pretty good. You definitely want to be gaining on approach, as that's a key factor this week and every week. And so it's good to see that Kevin's gained on approach and tee to green here his last 4 appearances. So that's one of my long shots. My second long shot is Luke Donald. So Luke's a guy that I've been follow on Instagram, been paying attention to his game. He's really been grinding, getting a lot of practice in, and really playing well with his approach game. So over the last 50 rounds, Luke actually leads this field in strokes gained to putting, and it's by a wide margin. So Luke Donald is at 1.07 strokes gained approach. The next closest person is 0.69 strokes gained approach. So that's over a 0.4 kind of increase or kind of gap between Luke and the next closest guy. So his approach game has just been on point. If he can get that putter working, you might be able to see Luke Donald up in the mix this week. And then my last long shot that we're going with is Aaron Baddeley. Bads is his nickname. So Bads actually Monday qualified to get into this field. So it was pretty much a playoff between a couple guys on Monday, and Aaron Baddeley ended up winning that Monday qualifier, and he shot a 66, which is 6 under par. He had 1 eagle, 5 birdies, and 1 bogey. And so Bads has gained strokes. He's gained strokes on approach, tee to green, and strokes gained total at this course in his last 3 appearances. So it's definitely pretty good. He likes this course, and so that's something you want to see well, and as well as he fired off a 6 under 66 just to get into this tournament. So hopefully he can continue that, and that would be awesome to see. And then another thing that would be awesome, I don't think I've mentioned it before, but on my Genesis Open flag that I have right here, in addition to Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas, I was able to get signatures on there from both Kevin Chappell and Aaron Baddeley. So rooting for those guys. If one of them can get across the finish line this week, add another win to my flag here, that would be greatly appreciated. So rooting for all my golfers this week. So just to do a kind of a quick overview of the golfers that I'm betting on back in this week. Here are their best numbers, best odds available that you can find these golfers at. So favorite golfer is Corey Connors. You can find him at 20-1 at Circa. Siwoo Kim, you can find at 40-1 at BetMGM. Johnny Vegas, you can find him at 55-1 at DraftKings. Luke List, 66-1 at BetMGM. Mito Pereira, 60-1, and you can find that at multiple different sports books. So now my long shots, Kevin Chappell, 200-1 odds. You can find that at Westgate. Luke Donald, 300-1 odds. You can find that at Circa. And then last but not least, Aaron Baddeley, 300-1 at Westgate. So that would be a pretty nice payout if any of those guys can get across the finish line. But yeah, any of those 8 guys get across the finish line, that would be great to see, and we'll be rooting on those golfers this week. So that pretty much does it for this week's video, the Valero Texas Open. Appreciate everyone that's stuck around and watched the whole video. And if you guys still have yet to subscribe to my channel, if you could just please click that subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, as well as liking the video, give me that nice thumbs up like on there, and then just comment on the YouTube video, or you can tweet at me who you guys think will win the Valero Texas Open this week. I'm just curious to see who you guys are thinking and going with this week. But yeah, any other questions, comments, feedback, if you guys want to reach out to me, please give me a follow on Twitter at BeyondTheGreenGolf. And so yeah, next week it's definitely a pretty big week on hand here, and I'm really excited. But we have the Masters next week, so it'll be first major of the year, and can't wait to get the major season started, and a lot of big tournaments coming up. So hope to get a nice Masters preview video out early in the week next week. And yeah, so it'll be a great week and pretty excited. So it's Masters, so we will have as golf fans, we will be treated pretty nicely to the Masters. So that'll be great to see. Okay, that pretty much does it this week. If you guys are playing golf, betting on golf, watching golf, hope you guys be on the green, and hope you guys have a great rest of your week and weekend. And see you guys next week for the Masters preview video. All right, see everybody.